Okay,
Good morning, Radha.
hello, very warm welcome to our session today. And based on what we thought from last time, we thought to continue with looking a little bit at some of the basic concepts and ideas that we study in the practice of meditation. And so the topic that we have today is the impact of thought. And so it's probably something that you're pretty familiar with, but I think it's always useful to go into the experience and into the practice. And one of the most slippery things is our awareness on our thinking. And so practicing observing that, practicing becoming aware of it. And I think as our, in a sense, as our practice of meditation continues over time, over the years, we become much more aware of what's going on in our thinking. However, there's always these blind spots, that we may or may not see very clearly, and sometimes people point them out to us, and other times we become aware of them ourselves. So I want to show you just a few slides actually, which see if I can find. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Okay. So this, okay, here we go. So basically, this is just to remind us really of what happens with our thoughts. So they say that we have thousands and thousands of thoughts every day. Who knows how they count it, but they say something like 30, 40, 50,000 thoughts that we have in one day. And if you think about it, from the moment you woke up this morning, how many thoughts have you had? How many things have you thought about? So many things, maybe about this, maybe about that. And within each topic, shall we say, or each aspect, how many thoughts have I had about that subject? And then how many thoughts were necessary? How much did I need to think about it? And how much did I just kind of go along with the flow? How many of those thoughts were thoughts that brought me peace, that brought me joy, that were sharing love? How many thoughts were a bit heavy, a bit dark, a little bit, thoughts that brought fear or worry? And so it's very interesting to observe and to notice, because in the end, the whole question of the impact of my thoughts lies in my hands. And so our thoughts have a direct impact on ourselves. So ourself in the sense of our mind, our state of mind, our state of consciousness, our energy levels, our ability to approach life with love or with fear, with enthusiasm or with tiredness, with boredom or with some newness. So really it's very much on I have a thought, and how much I sustain that thought is completely up to me. And so the more energy, the more sustenance I give to my thoughts, the stronger they become and the more impact they have. So it's very necessary to actually know what's going on, because in fact, my thoughts can make my life wonderful or miserable. And it's up to me to determine the quality of my thoughts. And so whether it's the impact on the self, on myself, or on others, of course, if I'm, in a sense, if I'm completely taken up by my own thinking, by worries about what's going on, about uncertainties, then the way that I interact with the people around me or with anyone who I have a connection with, that will be impacted, the quality of my interaction. And of course, when the quality of my interaction is impacted, then naturally the quality of my relationship is impacted. And it's our relationships that bring the most happiness and the most sorrow. You know? So it's really worthwhile to notice my pre-interaction. So the pre-interaction with people are my thoughts. And of course, before my thoughts is my awareness. And so that's also something to consider. Where is my awareness? That is where my thoughts will go. That will be the quality of my impact and interaction, whether it's with myself, with others, or even with matter. So of course, our body is the first matter, the first, in a sense, physical object that we have around us all the time. And so the biggest impact of our thoughts in terms of physical impact is on our body. And all those experiments, that the Japanese scientists did on water, the vibrations that reach water. Of course, as we know that our body is made up so much, is it 70 or 75% water. And so just as the experiment that this Emoto did on the glasses of water, where he said, I love you, you are wonderful, you are full of life. And on another glass, he wrote, you're terrible, you're dirty, you're polluted, I hate you. And of course, analyzing the crystals, he then froze the crystals and then analyzed them and put them under a microscope. And the patterns were just completely different. And I guess, I don't know what that would mean in terms of our body, but I guess when there's harmony, when the cells and the atoms and molecules in our body are in some way aligned, with the vibrations, with the ripples of our thoughts that are going into our body and impacting them, whether it's an energy of harmony and order or it's an energy of chaos and, in a sense, violence, of course, that's going to make a difference. So it's a question of noticing the kinds of thoughts. And so just to remind you, I think we've probably looked at this a few times, and so I hope it's still interesting for you. But basically, just in the sense of our awareness, so all of this, the awareness is before our thoughts. So whatever I'm aware of, such will be my thoughts. So for example, when who do I think I am? What am I aware of when I think of me, of myself? And so it's very different. The awareness of I have a job, and the awareness that I am my job. So actually I have a job, I am not my job. But to think that I have a job, and so therefore I am not my job. So who am I? I am a living, thinking being of peaceful, pure, joyful life energy. can I be aware of that and bring that into my job? You know, can I be aware of that and bring that into my body? Can I be aware of that and bring that into whatever I'm doing? So whether I'm driving, I'm on a bicycle, I'm walking, I'm washing dishes, I'm whatever it is that I'm doing, can I do that? Can I bring that awareness into my relationships? And so it's very much about the awareness that preempts our thinking. So naturally, if I'm aware, in a sense, if I have a certain belief about myself, which the belief could be that, well, I'm not good enough, for example, or because I am female, therefore I am, I don't have certain rights. So maybe, on one level, on a superficial level, we say, well, no, that's not true. We live in an equal society, and that's not the case. But because of my conditioning, I may have an unconscious belief that I am a lesser being because I am female. And so I interact, in a sense, with other people with that awareness. It could be an unconscious awareness. And so bringing the conscious awareness that I am not my body, I'm not male or female, but I am a living being of pure life energy. I have a body, I have a female body, and I have to take that into consideration. I need to stay connected with the gender of my body, but I need to not be confused by that, not be so influenced by that, that it changes the way that I think. And so changes in the sense it diminishes, it limits my awareness of myself. Because the reality is that as a spiritual being, I have both male and female qualities. So you might think of, female qualities as to be caring, to be tolerant, to be, strong. Maybe male qualities as being cooperative, as being taking initiative. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that all men do that and all women do that. Actually, that's a very limited way of thinking, and that's what we might call a body conscious way of interpreting male and female qualities. Whereas, actually, the truth or the reality, shall we say, is that every soul has the whole spectrum of qualities. And it's what we choose to develop within our lives. Sometimes we think, well, it's not possible for me to be, in a sense, to take initiative or to, express myself because I'm in a female body. And maybe this is the conditioning. And therefore, it kind of fulfills as they say, the self-fulfilling prophecy of what I've already decided. But actually, that's just me limiting myself because I've decided that I am female. Whereas actually, I have a female body. And so this awareness changes very much the quality of my thinking. Because then I say, okay, maybe I have a healthy body or I have an unhealthy body, for example. But it's not that I am sick, I am unwell. No, my body is not well. And so therefore I can take care of my body. I can look after it. I can listen to it. I don't need to come under the influence of beliefs, of old false beliefs. Because, for example, someone might have a belief, and this is a cultural thing, you might have a belief that if you get sick, it's because there's something wrong with you, because you are not good, you are a bad person. And so as a punishment, you have got sick, for example. This is quite a common belief. And so if I'm under the awareness that I am my body, then the associations of those thoughts are, well, I am not good because I am not well. No. And so there's to come out of all of these traps and beliefs that we don't even realize we have, the awareness of being, in a sense, completely unbound by all of these limitations. So there's nothing wrong with having a body. There's nothing wrong with having a job or a car or relationships or anything on a physical level. It's just the problems come in when we identify ourselves with that. And it's quite a big thing to disidentify ourselves. And that's why I think a lot of our sessions kind of come back to this point, because it's so easy to get stuck in the identity, in the false identity. And so the practice and the meditation is the practice of reminding ourselves that I am a thinking, living being of peaceful, pure, joyful life energy. And so this is something that we can remind ourselves about. So anytime a good indication, in a sense, of being trapped in what we might call physical consciousness is when I feel angry or upset, or I feel the suffering of some attachment, or I feel disturbed in some way. It's a good moment to check and say, hold on a second, where is my awareness? What am I getting stuck in? So it's not about thinking, oh, I'm doing something wrong. No, it's saying, where am I stuck? Hold on a second. My true nature is to be peaceful, joyful, blissful. So where am I getting stuck that I'm not experiencing that? Because when I'm in the awareness of being a living, joyful, pure energy, then naturally that is what I will experience. It's impossible not to experience that. So, of course, it's not always as simple as, as easy as it is to say. Otherwise, I think, we would probably all be already and always peaceful and joyful and loving, which certainly, at least for me, is not the case. And so therefore the practice of this in different ways is so useful. So then just looking further again, just again to remind us of this table, and we're going to do an exercise now together to check the impact of our thoughts. So just a quick reminder of the 4 different categories of thought. So we have, just looking at the top row, so this is the spectrum of thought, and this is the top row, the negative, the wasteful, the necessary, and the positive thoughts. And then a description basically of each of those is in the column below them. What we're interested in this exercise is to create a few positive thoughts. And we'll come back to this slide in a minute, but just want to show you the exercise that we're going to do now, which is basically to create one positive thought for yourself, one for one other person or group of people, and one for nature. So nature in the sense matter. So that could be nature, could be your own body. Nature could be, or the one of the 5 elements. So it could be for the oceans. It could be for the rivers. It could be for the mountains. It could be for the air. Whatever it is that you choose, it could be for the animals. or the fish or the birds, whatever you choose. But basically, and when we talk about the first one, the positive thought for the self is the positive thought for my condition, for my state of being. So, what is the thought that I can create that will be uplifting for me, that will be uplifting for one other person or group of people, that will be uplifting for nature? So I'm just going to go back to that the previous slide, which will just remind us of what are some of the characteristics of a positive thought. No? So a positive thought is original. So it's something that you create, something that is meaningful for me. So it might be that other people have thought the same thing, but have I thought that? Have I created it as if it's something that is my creation? A positive thought is deep. So in the sense, it's not just to repeat an affirmation, which can help, but if I just repeat something, then once I stop repeating it, many other thoughts will creep in. And so it needs to be deep in the sense of when the roots are deep, that's when whatever is built up on that will be stable. And so if my thought goes deep into my consciousness and has in a sense a good foundation of experience, of reflection, of interest, then whatever I build on that, it will stay with me and it will help me to remain stable, because later on, all I need to do is remember that thought and I will instantly become stable. No? This is the power of positive and powerful thoughts. No? Then the positive thought will be creative. So it's something that generates the energy. If the thought is about peace, then it will generate peace, the energy of peace within me. It will wake up the energy of love, of strength, of wisdom. The positive thoughts will be transformative. So they will have an impact to change maybe my mood, maybe the flow, the direction of some negative or wasteful thinking. So it's a little bit like taking a test tube and putting one drop of some powerful element that changes the chemistry of the whole thing. So it's a little bit like that, where one positive thought is like one drop in my mind, in my consciousness, that will change the whole atmosphere, the whole level of my thinking, the whole vibration of my being. And a positive thought will bring me into that condition of stillness. So stillness not meaning no thought, but meaning that ability where I am stable, I am connected, I am concentrated. I'm able to experience the silence and the power of that thought. So if that's okay with you, we can move into the exercise. So we'll start it off as a meditation, and I'll show you that next slide again. I hope you can see it okay. So create one thought for yourself, one positive thought for yourself, one for another person or a group, and one for nature. And if you feel like it, write it in the chat or write it down somewhere. It's worthwhile to write it down if you can. But we'll start off with a meditation. And just to take us into that, in a sense, into that mindset so that we're able to connect with ourselves and generate the energy, generate one very clear, very powerful thought. So it needs to be something that you find uplifting. You know? So I don't know if you have any questions or anything you want to clarify in that. Otherwise, we will move on. Okay, so now I'm going to also see if I can share the music. Okay. Okay. So find a comfortable position and make sure that all the muscles in your body are relaxed, free from tension, and the eyes are resting at one point or just slightly closed, but relaxed. At the same time, I want to be fully present. I want to be connected, and the one that is guiding my thinking in this exercise. I am particularly aware of every thought that passes through my mind, every feeling. And so it's as if everything slows down just because I am observing. I'm noticing. I'm listening. I am fully present. As I breathe in and out, I sense the gratitude for my body, my vehicle, my home for so many years. And as I feel how my body feels, just like I can feel what it feels like to wear a dress or the clothes that I'm wearing. I feel what it feels like to be wearing my body. I, the living, thinking essence of life, the being of peaceful, joyful energy. I am present in this body. And to that place of quiet. As I settle down inside, I begin the exercise of consciously generating one positive thought for myself. What is one thought that I can think at any time that will help me feel uplifted? It can start with the two words, I am. I take a moment to allow this thought to emerge. I actively create one thought that is uplifting, that is positive for myself. And I take a moment to write this down. For those who wish to, you can write it in the chat or for yourself on a piece of paper on your device. It's important to note it down. And then, when you're ready, move into the second part of this exercise to create a positive, uplifting thought for nature. So first, before nature, we will create an uplifting thought for one person or for a group of people. The third one will be nature. So I take a moment, remembering who I am, my true identity as a being of peace. And I see who comes up in my awareness. I might be surprised, or it might be expected. And I choose one person or a group of people for whom to create a positive, uplifting thought, a good wish, pure feeling that I can express to this person or this group of people. Take a moment to create this thought. And when you're ready, write it down for yourself or in the chat as you wish. And then we move to the last one, to create a positive, uplifting thought for nature. Visualize the aspect of nature to whom you would like to send your positive, powerful thought. And watch that thought being created. When you're ready, take a moment to write your thought for nature. Then just very gently coming back to the consciousness of your physical surroundings. Just whilst we're here, I wanted to read a little piece by Dadi Janki, and it's called Changing Thoughts. So thoughts are like seeds. As are my thoughts, so will be my attitude and behavior. Therefore, my focus shouldn't be so much on wrong behavior as on the thinking which causes it. I need to be aware of how much damage is caused by negative thoughts. Negative, wasteful thinking over a long period of time will put me right back into the gutter. The task of a spiritual student is to transform situations through thoughts. When I change myself first, then I can change the world. And so this is just a few possibilities in how we can apply and experiment with the impact of our thinking. So I see a few examples written here. I'm just going to read them out. Thank you. So for myself, I am enough. That's one that is very powerful. I am enough. Yes. Sometimes when I think about that, I think I don't need anyone to complete me. Beautiful. I am enough. And then says Anna, for I am respectful to you, nature, trees. Yes. Great. And then again, Watsi, for my children, you are blessed and highly favored. You are light, you are beauty, you are peace, you are joy, you are enough as you are in this moment. Wonderful. So these are the thoughts that uplift for nature. You are oxygen, you are life. Yes. And then I am generous for others. Beautiful. Yes. So whatever thought that you might create, whether it's a thought that's for a very specific situation, it could be a thought, a positive thought for some meeting that you have this afternoon, for example. What is the positive thought that you're going to create for that? That's going to have an impact on how you experience that meeting, on your condition in that meeting. And as you are, so is the world. So is your world. So basically, our thoughts impact the world, our experience. And it doesn't stop to our immediate surroundings. And so it's very useful to, in a sense, to prepare ourselves and say, okay, well, what is one thought that's going to be really useful to me, for the next little while. And so it might be that you're feeling the opposite to what you would like to feel. So then to create the thought of how you would like to be. So it might be that you're feeling very little bit anxious or a little bit distracted by something's happened and you feel a bit upset, a bit disorientated. And so just to sit down and write, okay, well, this is how I'm feeling, to acknowledge that. What would I like? What would I like my state of consciousness to be? And so just to visualize and not to put any limits. So I would like to have a mind that is so clear that I can see directly through all the games or all the whatever, all the goings on, and I can reach directly to the best possible solution. And I will be able to express that with my truth, with love, taking into consideration all those who are involved, for example. So it might feel like, well, that is just impossible. But actually, just by thinking that, we're increasing the likelihood by 100, more than 100%. And so it's really worthwhile to actually take the time to generate the thoughts and the condition that you would like to have. And so that's the impact that we can create for ourselves. So I don't know if there's any other thoughts or any other comments that anyone would like to share. Before we finish, we have just a few minutes. Otherwise, we conclude here. So interesting to experiment with this, to notice how our awareness determines the quality of our thoughts, and that determines the quality of our interaction and our experience of life, of that situation, of that issue, of that moment, of that holiday, whatever it might be. In fact, if you're, for example, if you're thinking about holidays, which maybe you are in this moment, it's really worthwhile to think, well, what's my intention? What would I really like? Apart from, yes, I would like the sea and I would like sun, I would like a beautiful place, I would like good company, but actually beyond that or behind that, what is it that I would really like? What would I like my inner condition to be? What is it that I would like to get out of this? What would I like to contribute to those moments? And so that kind of sets the scene in a way. And it just makes everything so much more meaningful as well. So thank you. Yes. So some tools to prepare our thoughts. Creating a positive thought is powerful. It helps transforming a situation and make it better. It is a powerful start indeed. Absolutely. So please do share your, any experiences that you might have even later on, or, personally, I would love to hear about your victories, and your experiences, little, big, doesn't matter. How have you applied? How do you apply these positive, powerful thoughts in your life? Great, thank you, Watsi, doing the meditation, lying down, relaxing, beautiful. Great. Good. Well, have a wonderful afternoon, and I wish you many, many beautiful, powerful, uplifting thoughts. And we'll see you next time.